Welcome to our tutorial today. During this tutorial, we are actually going through the Cincinnati Bell eMERGE Call Center Supervisor Thin Client application. Our first steps today, we're going to cover the basics of getting started, signing into the workspace, also a guided tour of the workspace, how to manage calls, and also how to monitor agent availability and agent calls. To begin using your call center supervisor thin client, your first step will be logging into the client. So from any web browser, just type the word callcenter.evolve.cbts.net/callcenter. It is a web-based application, so you could log in using any browser. You will also be provided with your user ID and your password by your company system administrator. Once you click sign in by using those credentials, if you're given a temporary password to start, you may be prompted to change that password upon login. So keep that in mind. Your new password can be 6 digits alphanumeric if you choose to make them that way or more. So logging in, once you've signed in to the application, you basically have different panes that you'll need to pay attention to. Up at the top of the page, you'll have your display pane. This is where your information will be given to you if there's system messages or anything that this application needs to provide to you, messaging and etc. You have your call console pane here. Call console is basically where your active calls and inbound calls will be shown and listed. Beneath that, you have your conference call pane. This is where all of your conference calls will be shown. The middle section is your contacts, your directory pane. You have several panes here that you can activate. Some of these you may not want to see all of the time. If you choose not to, you can simply click and hide them. When you want to bring certain panels back, you just simply click on them and click here at the little toolbar, click directories, and then you can put a check mark by the directories that you want to have access to. So it's very simple to bring them back. Okay. Also over here is your queued calls pane. This is basically where all of the queued calls will reveal themselves on the call center application that you've been assigned to monitor. So out of the box, when you first open up this system, of course this will be blank. So one of the first things in housekeeping that you'll need to do is to reveal your call centers to which you are assigned. To do that, simply click on the tools, then go to Edit Queue Favorite dialog. The call centers that you've been assigned will then appear on the list here, and then you just simply put a check mark by the call centers which you would like to monitor. If you notice here, you're able to monitor or view up to 10 calls as they stand in queue in the call center. Then click Save, and the call center to which you are monitoring will appear. Another thing that you'll probably want to pay attention to out of the box is up here in the right-hand corner of the screen. Basically, you have a little bit of housekeeping that you'll need to do. One of the things that I suggest is clicking on the Settings tab. This will allow you to go in and change your password at any time. This will also allow you to click Screen Pop if you want incoming calls to you to auto-populate. So let's say you have this application minimized throughout the day, and then any calls that are coming into you, this will automatically pop up. Personally, I don't like this auto-pop. I typically like to keep it minimized, and I like to be in control and bring it up when I need to access it. However, some people do prefer the auto-pop. Here you can change your time date format if you like month day year format, or if you like day month year, you can elect to do so here. Your time format, you can go AM PM, or if your company dictates, you can do a 24-hour clock period here. One of the things I do suggest that you do as you log in is to click Always Save Workspace on Sign Out, and then click Save Workspace. This way, any changes aesthetically that you make in the system will be the same when you sign out and then sign back in the very next time. So you don't have to go through these changes each time you sign into the system. So I think this one is a really important one. The other tab here, Application, you may want to go ahead and make sure that you are signed in here under the Q membership. Now, in this application that we're looking at, I am signed in both as a supervisor and an agent. So some of you watching this may only be signed in as supervisors. You won't have this option on your screen unless you're signed in also as a call center agent. Here under Services, just an FYI that when an agent puts a call on Do Not Disturb, it does block the call center calls from going to them. Call Forwarding Always will also forward calls to another destination. On plugins, you can make some housekeeping here if you'd like to focus automatically the window on incoming calls. Another thing down here some people like to use is to add a shortcut to their desktop. By clicking Add Shortcut, it's going to enable you to have a shortcut to the call center that'll appear on your desktop. And like I said before, you can also save the URL as a favorite if you'd like into your favorites list in your browser. Messaging, this basically will work with your default mail application. Most people today, a lot of them use Outlook. It's going to default to whatever you're using if you are doing any messaging through the system for email. Reports, this is where you can set some default thresholds for the reporting. We are actually going to go into more detail with the reporting here in just a moment. About just gives you information regarding the call center application and the branding that CBTS has to offer on that. So getting back to the main application, very simple. Back in the right hand corner, just click Back to Application and your screen appears again so that you can work in it. So that to get there again, that was the settings option. Reporting, we are going to go into some of the reporting here in just a moment. This system has extensive reporting. I think you are going to be very satisfied with the amount of reports and the details that's given in that. Dashboard, this is another section here that is going to be very beneficial to you. You can click on Dashboard at any time and pull up an opposite screen that will show your call center. Show some great statistics. You can even have the call center application minimized and then keep this up on your screen at all times so that you can see some of the stats in real time as they progress through the system. For example, you're able to see how many calls are in queue, the longest waiting call, how long it has waited, expected wait time. Now this all depends on the average statistics. As time goes on, as you use the call center application, it's going to give you more and more detailed specifics, especially with the dashboard. Average handling time, average speed of answer, how many people are staffed in the call center, how many are idle, how many are unavailable, and show agents. You might want to also click this to show agents in this specific call center and their sign-in time, sign-in duration, average stait time, percent of the time available, busy and busy out, and average wrap-up time. So this is a great thing to look at from time to time as you're managing your agents and your call centers. To close this out, simply either close the browser or just click Close in the right-hand corner. So I really like using the dashboard. Also up here, besides settings, is the Help link. Help is basically a link where you can click to open in a PDF format the full user guide for this system. So when you click Help, you're going to get a pop-up with a full PDF user guide for the call center client. And then of course here we have Sign Out. sign out basically closes out the browser with your call center application. Right here, you have, upon login, you have an available status. This also applies, basically puts you into the call center if you are both a call center supervisor and a call center agent. This would make you available to receive calls if you are also listed as an agent. So some people, when they log in, they want to make sure if they're just in there to monitor agents and not take calls, they want to go ahead and make themselves unavailable. There are some options that we have here. This is just a training options that we put in, so you may not have this one in your call center, but just some typical unavailable codes. Today we're just going to use the default one. Over here, this information here under Presence actually applies to the Instant Messaging and Presence tool. This is an additional tool and feature that is available through eMERGE. If your company chose to purchase the Instant Messaging and Presence feature, this would also carry right through to the call center application, and it would show your instant messaging availability. So if you wanted to make yourself busy, away, or offline, typically as you log in, it's going to automatically make you available. Instant messaging and Presence is basically this. It is an instant messaging tool which allows you to instant message contacts and colleagues in your company. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the reporting option while we're here. When you click on reporting, you actually have a pretty extensive guide to the call center and agent reports. Here under template, you can choose the drop down, and as you can see, here's a long list of reports that you can run on. You can schedule these to run, set them up as historical or future. One of the most popular reports that folks do within the call center, especially the agent reports, is the Agent Activity Detail Report. Also the Agent Summary Report. This gives just a brief summary of the activities as far as sign-in time, sign-out time, duration that this specific agent has signed in, also duration of calls, amount of calls, and if you have any dispositions that you might have with your company that you'd like to report on. So you can choose a specific agent. You can do a historical, or you can schedule this report. You can have it to start and end on specific dates. You could have it ran daily. So if you do choose a daily report, you might want to view a couple of these and maybe run them for 2 or 3 days and then decide if this is a specific report that you would like to see. Now, as far as a daily report goes, these reports will generate, and you will click to run on the specified dates. If you choose a scheduled report on a specific agent, this means that you want future activity recorded and reported for your particular agent that you chose. So here I would name it, accordingly, so that I would understand what my report is about. And I would choose my report time to start. You can reoccur daily, every single day, and then you can choose after how many occurrences you want it to end, or you can choose a specific date on when you want the report to end. You could also have it run for the previous day, so that means that when you run the report, you're going to receive the report for the previous day going forward. So for example, at 12:01 a.m. you're going to be emailed a report based on the past 24 hours for this individual. Here is where you list the email addresses of the recipients that you want to receive for your report. Then just click Add Scheduled Report. So as you're looking at these reports, you should have also received from your system administrator or your eMERGE trainer a full copy of the reports guide. It's about a 43 page guide that lists examples of each report and explains exactly what they are. If you have not received that, it might be something helpful for you to reference as you get started with this tool. Please reach out to your system administrator within your company that manages your system, or your eMERGE trainer. So back to the console here that we're looking at, and a couple of things that you also want to pay attention to in the contacts pane is, starting out of the gate, you want to go ahead and assign the agents to which you would like to monitor. Now in my application, I am using the call center premium license. So this is the full features of all the aspects of the call center application. You might not have all of these features if you are subscribed to the basic call center or the standard. A lot of these features come with the full call center premium licensing. If you need to upgrade to the premium call center licensing, please reach out to your system administrator and have them reach out to your Cincinnati Bell account manager to add on some of these specific features. So to view the agents, as you can see, everybody's kind of grayed out here on their availability. To view the status of these agents, one of the first things that you're going to need to do is click on the pencil here beside of the agents, and this is going to list the call centers to which they are assigned. So there might be more than one call center that specific agents are assigned. So if you want to monitor everybody in that call center, just click on the call center itself. Or if you just want to monitor specific people, you can do so and then click Save. Today we're going to just monitor everybody in the call center, then click Save. Now as you can see here, we have different bubbles, little dots that appear beside of each person's name. Right now we have got myself. I'm listed also as an agent. This is why I see my own profile here, as well as a supervisor. So you can't definitely monitor yourself, but you can look at your own status if you'd wish to. So as you can see here, a little bit about the information. It lists a phone number. I can click to call. I am listed as unavailable. If you remember up here, I made myself unavailable when I logged in. Also, if you hover here, it'll show my extension. I can call either one of these and click to dial. The call center to which I am assigned will be listed here, and my call center status shows that I'm joined. And if applicable, it might show a skill level. It depends upon the programming of your particular call center. On another individual, which is not me, which I will be able to use more extreme here, I can see that this person is right now signed out, and the little red dot here will reveal that this person is signed out. To change their sign-in status, I can actually go to ACD button, and I can make this person available to join, and they're in the call center now. They are available. I can click Silent Monitor Next Call on Agent, and when I do the Silent Monitor Next, that means that the very next call that comes in to that agent is I will be able to silently monitor, and it'll automatically basically open up the monitoring status on my phone when I do so. I could also call this individual just by clicking to call. When you click to call, it actually opens up dialogue between your phone and the individual. It will call the individual's phone. It does not call through the computer, but it actually starts dialing on your phone to that individual's phone or their extension. You may have the chat feature that corresponds with the instant messaging and presence option. Keep in mind that's another licensed feature that you could purchase through CBT. If you notice there, if you do have the IMMP, it will reveal their status availability here in this little bubble. Okay. So I've signed this individual in. I could also sign an individual out. So if, let's say, they've left early for the day or left for an emergency, I could make them out, sign them out. I could also make them unavailable, putting them into a meeting or in a special project. Perhaps they've forgotten to do this and they've already walked away from their desk. You can easily put them in any mode that you need to remotely. Okay. Here we have a test individual. I've made them available, and just for testing purposes today, I've got their calls forwarded so that we can be able to show calls here in just a moment. Okay, so that's your Agents tab. You also, if you are a one of those special folks who has agent licensing and also supervisor licensing, you will see a Supervisor tab. So these are other supervisors that we have signed into the system here. If you notice here, this individual is on Do Not Disturb. So you can monitor supervisors if you're also a call center agent. If you need to escalate a call, for example, or emergency escalate a call to a supervisor, transfer or call that supervisor if necessary. Another option down here within your directories, if you click on Enterprise, you will see every single phone number that's assigned in your system within the eMERGE system. Here you're looking at, Cincinnati Bell. And for example, you can easily transfer a call to an individual. You can search for an individual. So if I'm looking for a particular person, I type in their first or last name and just click Begins With, and the individuals that I'm looking for appear. So I could call by calling their phone number or extension. If their mobile phone is listed, I can click MOB and immediately initiate a call to their mobile phone, or I can chat with that individual. So it's easy to transfer to these individuals within your company, or you can also call from this tool as well. So it does a lot more than just monitoring calls. Like I said, Enterprise will list every single live phone number within your system. The personal directory will list your personal contacts. So it's like a personal Rolodex in the system. How to add individuals to this system is very simple. You just click on the pencil and then click Add. Then you'll type in the information in the field, the name, and then as you see the phone number or extension, no spaces or dashes here. Even if it's a long distance call or a toll-free call, you just add just the number. Do not put a 1 in front of it. The system automatically assumes if it is a long distance area code and phone number or toll-free, it's going to automatically assume the 1. Okay. Then if you want to save this information, just click anywhere outside of the dialog box. So here I've made an error and I want to get rid of this. So basically I highlight if I want to delete and then click delete. And then just click close. So to call these individuals, you just highlight and open up their profile and click call. And you can automatically start dialing them. Queues. This one is going to be very important if you are a supervisor. You can transfer calls directly into the queue. Easily done. If you have a active call here, you want to transfer that person into a queue call center, you can easily do so. I'll give you a little more info as we move forward in the tutorial. As a supervisor also, you can silent monitor the next queued call as it comes in. So just like you could silent monitor an agent up here, you can silent monitor the next call that comes into this specific queue. So therefore, it doesn't matter who it lands on, who gets the call within your agent category, you would be able to silent monitor that next call as it comes in. Instant message, this applies to our IM&P, our instant messaging and presence. Some people typically, this gives you an option to instant message anyone within your company that has the IM&P tool. Today we're going to hide that one. Directories will list every single directory in the call center application if you need to access that. Okay, so today we're going to really be focusing on the agents. Next up, we're going to be talking about incoming calls and how to manage your own incoming calls. You can actually type an ad hoc number here if you wish. As you call in to an ad hoc number, you can just simply type the number and then click your dialer button. So as we're making our outbound call, and as calls are coming through, now we are on an active call. So this is where your active calls are going to appear. Now you have lots of capabilities here. You can put that call on hold, you can end that call, you can transfer that call. So you could transfer to any destination that you want, even if you want to transfer it to another phone number. You could transfer it to another extension and then click transfer, and then you've blind transferred even out of your system. So that's an easy one there. If you want to transfer to an individual, you would simply highlight that individual, click transfer, and then you've completed a blind transfer within your system to that individual. The outside party's caller ID will reveal on the screen or the phone of the individual who receives that call. To do a consulted transfer, you actually would click to call the individual first. So once you click call, it's going to automatically put your first caller on hold, and then it will start dialing the individual which you've called. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and call the individual's phone number. We'll automatically put our other person on hold, and it looks like that person is not available at this time. So we can easily click end and go ahead and end that call. So very simple. Now as you can see here, our original caller is still on hold. So to retrieve that held call back, we can click answer, and then we've retrieved our caller back into the system. Okay, and so now we're going to go ahead and I'll show you how to actually execute a consulted transfer. So let's go ahead and let's call this individual. Let's click to call an individual on our list here. Remember, our first caller automatically goes on hold, and our next caller is coming through, and then as soon as they answer their call, our first caller goes on hold. Now we're speaking with our second caller. We have tons of options here now. We can toggle back up and retrieve our other caller, very simple, by clicking answer. At that point, it's automatically going to put our other caller on hold. We can conference everyone together, and then they're going to appear down here in our conference pane. I can do a transfer at that point, which would be a consultative transfer. So I've got my other caller on the phone, and then when I want to transfer the initial caller over, I would just simply click transfer, and then the consulted transfer would be completed. I could also end the call for any individual that I would wish to do so. So while we've got both of our individuals here on a call, it's a good time to go ahead and show you how to do the conference call. So as you can see here, the little icon shows you've got an active call going, and then this means there's a held call here. So let's go ahead and execute that conference call. Now if you notice, they left the call console pane here at the top and went down to the conference call pane. So as you can see now, you've got the little triangle which shows both callers. I can end the conference for all callers. I can hold the conference for all callers, or I could leave the conference for all callers. I could also end the call for either one of the folks on the conference call, or put either one of those folks on hold. For now, I'm going to go ahead and end the conference for our second party, and then our initial caller comes back up into your call console as an active call. If you notice also, you have a timer right here that gives your active call. Now let's take a look at monitoring our agents, specifically while they are on a call. This application is directly associated with the Call Center Premium application. So if you see that an agent is on a call and you want to monitor that call, what you can do and what will be revealed is the silent monitor icon here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to silent monitor our test individual. And when we click silent monitor, it automatically will throw the monitored call over to your phone. If you don't have your receiver lifted at that time, it will go into speaker mode. So it's ideal if you are wearing a headset at that point and have that headset plugged in and active, or please lift the receiver so that that doesn't come across on the speaker of your phone. So I'm going to go ahead and click silent monitor. I'll hear a little beep on my phone. If you notice, it'll click and say silent monitoring. And basically what happens is it throws into the conference call pane. However, you are totally silent as a supervisor when you're doing the monitoring. The agent and or the individual that has called in or on the outside caller will not hear you, and your options here are to barge into the conversation. So if there is a case that where you have to join the call, you could barge in to the conversation very easily by clicking barge, and then there is a tone that plays so that all callers will be able to hear that tone. You can hold, which I don't recommend. They may hear hold music if you use that feature. You can, if you've heard enough of the call, you could also click to leave so that you would not need to monitor that call anymore. So you can easily say, okay, well, it looks like they're wrapping up the call. I can go ahead and leave. I've heard everything I need to hear today. When you do that, it automatically disappears from your screen. Okay. Now, a couple of other things that I do need to show you, especially at the top of each of the panes here. If you notice, we did talk a little bit about the toolbars as you notice these here at the top. One thing I did want to show you is that you do have a nice little call history option here. If you click this, this is going to list about the last 8 to 10 calls. You have missed calls, received and placed calls category here that you're able to see. So if you've actually pop up and you say, okay, I've missed a call, I can quickly call that person back. You can see here the direction type or redirection type. This one went to a simultaneous ring. These callers went to my voicemail, which I probably received a voice message. You'll also be able to see here placed calls, etc., or any received calls. So that's a nice little option. Here you also have a redial button. And like I said, within your contacts here, keep in mind that you can view your contact directories. Just put a check box beside the ones that you want to view in your contacts pane. For now, this concludes our tutorial for the Call Center Supervisor Thin Client application. I hope you have got a lot of information today, and thank you again for using Cincinnati Bell, and we look forward to showing you more tutorials in the future.